Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma. Good evening. So we will begin in block 2. In block 2, do you have any doubts?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma. Tell me.
Can you once explain the audit techniques?
Okay. I will explain. Sure, definitely.
Madam,
I will
business
explain.
economy class, madam. Business environment class, sir.
No. It is auditing. It is auditing class. Okay. I will explain you the auditing techniques. And did you
Okay, ma'am.
receive mail?
Yes, ma'am. I
Have you?
received the mail yesterday.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. So you revise it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. We will discuss in the class. So the next topic we have audit control. So before that we will begin. We discuss some block to some other concepts also. All of you, just wait a while. I am trying to open the screen. Okay. So block two. Yesterday we have discussed block two. Yes, ma. So you have some you need some clarification in techniques of audit techniques, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we discussed that. Yes, ma. See here, the role of auditor is to verify the books of accounts. So in order to verify the various books of accounts, auditor will follow certain techniques. So those techniques will tries to implement in the audit process. So what are those techniques? Generally, the routine and regularly verification of cash transactions with vouchers and other document evidences will be verified. Auditor will verify regularly, routinely the verification of cash transactions with vouchers. So here, if it is done regularly mode, that is known as routine checking. This is one of the aspects in the audit techniques. Is it clear, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
And another technique is also there that will be followed by the auditor, that is test checking. So test checking means here auditor sometimes may pick the transactions randomly. He will pick randomly. He will leave one transaction and he will pick the another transaction. So in that way, if it is not regular basis, random basis, if the verification is done, then that is known as here test checking. Is it clear, ma? Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
If audit is done regularly, that is known as routine checking. If auditor verifies the books of accounts randomly, if he will pick sales one time, and he will pick purchase details some other time he will pick creditors details. So like that, randomly he will select. So that is known as here test checking. So shall we go to the block 3? Yes, ma'am. Shall I begin block 3 now? All of you. Yes, ma'am. We'll go with block 3 then. Yes, ma'am. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just I will share the screen. We'll begin the block 3. So, okay, block 3, that is internal control and internal check and internal audit. These are the 3 concepts in the block 3. So here, internal control. So what is control here? So control means when the concept of control will take place into role when we are excessively utilizing any resources. At that time, we need to have a control. See, for example, we generally we have to incur expenses for producing the goods 5 lakhs worth rupees, but it is incurring 5 lakhs 50,000. Let us assume. Then there must be a control over the excessive expenditure incurred by the firm. Next, in the same way, internal control deals with the various aspects like financial control and whole system control and whole management will tries to conduct the business by having a concept of internal check. So internal check means here the transactions are being checked continuously. The transactions continuously, if we are verifying the various transactions time to time, and so that here there will be, if at all, if anything is going wrong, then we can rectify there itself. Next, types of internal control. So one is accounting control we have, and another one is administrative control we have. So accounting control means here, so generally it comprises plan of organization to safeguard the various assets and liabilities of the organization. So what is here internal control, accounting control? It tries to safeguard the accounting transactions, if at all, if it is excessively the transactions excessively If the overflow is there, then there used to be control over the assets and also based on the financial transactions. Next here, administrative control. Administrative control includes procedures. Here the procedures relating to the decision making of an organization. So generally, here administration plays a vital role for the effective results of any organization. So if at all, if administration control is adequate, then here every transaction and every business organization will function smoothly. So internal control process. So there is a process to conduct this internal control. So first one is, here there are five steps. We have five monitoring control process. First one is control, that is operating environment, controlling the operating environment. Next one is here environment. See, environment, it contains here internal environment and external environment. So environment, internal environment they can control, but whereas external environment, it is not in our hands. It is beyond the organizational hands, like competitors or government policies. We need to implement it. Next year, second one is risk assessment. So whenever we do the business, sometimes risk will we can expect, and risk certainly we cannot we cannot expect the risk. So expected risk is for example, if we are not managing well, so we know that we won't get the profits. And external uncontrollable risk. So sometimes the rules of government and competitor strategies will be different. Under that situation, we cannot control that. Next, here we have another one is here control activities. Just now we discussed, if it is excessive, we need to control. Any employees must be only 1,000, but we have 1,100 employees. Then waste of salaries to them, and raw material according to necessity and need they need to purchase. Next here, information and communication. This is most powerful feature of internal control process, that we need to collect information what is happening in the market, and we need to communicate the same to with the organizational people. Next here, the fifth point is monitoring. So monitoring means here, like we are managing each and every activities of the business, like monitoring whole system of an organization is known as here monitoring. Is it clear, ma?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, ma. So we go, next one is scope of internal control. Like scope means here we have cash control, control over trading transactions. So we need to have control over business transactions. So just now we discussed in the introductory part the same scope. So internal control focuses on the cash control, and like cash control means here, wait ma, just a minute. Just a minute, ma. I will continue the class. Yes, ma. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am trying to share the screen. I have already shared it. So we will continue the class. Yes, ma. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to hear? Are you able to hear my voice and see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we are discussing scope of internal control. There must be a cash control, like on control on receipts and payments, and control on balances held in an organization, and control on misappropriation of cash, misutilization of cash. And another scope is here control over trading activities. So generally, the trading activities such as purchases and sales. So here the organization has to follow the procedures that are laid in the accounting process. Like for example, sales, when they are doing sales transactions, so there will be certain norms that must be followed by an organization. So, and when they are purchasing, there must be a certain protocols. Then they need to follow it. When they record purchases and when they record the sales transactions, then they need to follow the methodology. Next here, control over employees remuneration. If employees remuneration is not according to the organizational planning, so if at all, if the remuneration is different, so then there must be a control over remuneration, control over employees remuneration. So here, generally, the organization will prepare and it will prepare a report over the remuneration. So here, they must follow that report. According to that report, they need to fix the salary to the employees. Next, capital expenditure control. So, like expenditure spent on capital assets must be kept in a proper control. It must not be more and it must not be less. Next, other control activities such as here maintenance of staff relationship. So nowadays here relationships are have become mechanical, but it is with that here there is no proper smooth functioning of an organization. Every entrepreneur must maintain smooth relationship and soft relationship with their employees. The entrepreneur must not treat employees as an employees. They must treat that they are also the part and parcel of an enterprise. Next is stock maintenance. So another control over here internal control aspect is the stock maintenance. So when there is a need for the purchase department, when there is a need for the production department, then they need to, according to the need of the department, then they need to maintain the stock. Next, control over investments. So the investments. So if we are investing on a particular transaction, like on assets or on stock, so it must not be overflow. It must not be underflow. We have to maintain a balanced system. Next, here elements or characteristics or principles of internal control. So here these are the various characteristics like trustworthiness we must have. Next, they have to maintain the records such as financial and organizational plans. Next, delegation of duties. Next, supervision must be done. Authorization must be done, and internal audit is an part and principle of internal control. Next, arithmetic and accounting controls must be taken place. Arithmetic means you are dealing with the various mathematical transactions. Next, here advantages of internal control. So So internal control from the client point of view, like for example, providing reliable data. So business decisions or business getting the accurate information. Just know in the initial information, whatever market information, we need to have an idea over that in order to fix the prices to the products or to deal with the various business transactions. Next one is safeguarding assets and records. So the main aim of internal control is to safeguard or to protect the assets of the company. It must not be stolen or misused, or accidentally it must not be destroyed. So the members of an organization, they take care about the maintenance of assets. Next one here, to promote operational efficiency. Internal control, obviously, it promotes the efficiency and accuracy in the business activities. Next, to encourage the prescribed policies. So the system of internal control, the main aim is to encourage the procedures and rules that must be followed by the various company and persons involved in that company. So from auditor's point of view, internal control means to study the evaluation of client system. Who will be the client here? The business organization will be the client. So the auditor point of view, the auditor will check whether the organization has following the proper procedures or not, whether they are following the norms or not. The auditor will tries to understand the system of an organization. So by asking some questions or by observing certain reports, certain statements, auditor will get some idea, and based on that he will implement the various strategies. Next, limitations of internal control. Are you following, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Limitations of internal control. So here, as everything we kept open in before the eyes of auditor and before the staff employees of a company. So sometimes here, it will become a weakness. See, for example, if everything, if it is communicated clearly, then the auditor will get an idea that under the particular aspect the organization is in weak system. So no problem, if the auditor assess the weaknesses of the company, then there the auditor will focus his action plan more and also suggest certain suggestions. Next, internal control are concerned more with transactions of routine nature, like day-to-day business activities. It deals with the day-to-day business activities. Next, human error. The possibility of human error may weaken the internal control system. So human beings, as they involve in the various business transactions, so it will become certain weakness to identify or to focus on the particular employees. Next, here persons operating under internal control, employees of the client enterprise and outside parties may render the control ineffective. So if employees and if the business organization is not following the internal control system, then the waste of conducting the internal control system, it is costly and time waste thing. Is it clear, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Next, important questions you note down, ma, in this unit. Yes, ma, have you noted?
1 minute, ma'am.
Okay, note down, note down. Okay, fine. So we will go with next unit 8. We have internal check. So internal check generally it is a part of internal audit, and it is carried out by the staff members itself. See, for example, the production department employees workers work which was done by them, so it will be checked by the production manager, the head of the department. So in the same way, each departmental activities will be monitored and managed by their individual departments heads. So that is part internal check is part of the internal audit. Next, objectives of internal check. Generally, the concept of internal check is involved in an organization to have moral see to exercise moral pressure over the staff to see their responsibilities, reminding their responsibilities of an employees will be done with the internal check. So, for example, employees has to work 10 to 4 o'clock, their working hours. Just they are coming by 10 o'clock, and just by 11 o'clock, if they are going out and wasting the time chit chatting, then there is no use. So, in order to avoid the wasting of time, or in order to remind their responsibilities, here internal check concept was introduced. Next, here with the internal check system, accounting system procedures will provide accurate information. The needy information will be gathered from the accounting system procedures. Next, to protect the resources, various resources like land, labor, capital, organization of a business, and to protect business from the fraud or carelessness and from inefficiencies, then the internal check will control the frauds, carelessness, and inefficiencies in the business organization. Next, the main purpose of internal check is to distribute the work among the business members. Next, here to allocate or to discharge the duties and responsibilities of each and every clerk in an organization, particularly to prevent the frauds and errors. Here we conduct the internal check. So with the internal check, the chances of errors will be reduced and efficiency will be increased. And here the work will be divided. Division of labor means the work will be divided among the various employees. And to detect the errors and frauds easily from time to time. So this internal check plays an important role. Next, essential characteristics or principles of internal check. Having a responsibility in the work. Next, work must be completed in time. Next, rotation of employees. See, rotation means here, if employees working in sales department, then they will be rotated to another department, and they will be rotated to the another department. So with the rotation of employees will learn various skills and techniques of various departments. So if the employees are at same place, so then they learn only the particular departmental skills, and they also they dominate the particular place also. Sometimes the department will be dominated by the employees and their behavior. To avoid such domination, to avoid such things, so here the businesses will conduct rotation of employees. Next, automatic check. So it is an important aspect, like here it is a good system automatically. So the work done by one clerk will be checked by the another. So here automatic check takes place, so that there is a chances to reduce the errors. Next, reliance. So here no clerk of the business should be rely upon too much on any one. So they must be independent to learn the things. Next, they have to safeguard the checkbooks, files, securities properly. Next, supervision. There will be a strict supervision over the various departments with the help of internal check. Next, formal sanction, no deviations. Like for example, procedures. For example, if some department will come to the management, and the smoothly the management has to listen and understand the need and necessity of the various departments, and then they need to sanction the permission. Next, periodical review. Time to time, the review is being done among the organization. Next, limitations of internal check. It is costly to the small business concerns, and quality is sometimes sacrificed for promptness. See, for example, in an internal check system, quality of work, if it is declines because of the clerk's performance, so the business attach great importance to become quick. See, internal check aims at completing the work quickly, so in that case, sometimes there is a chance to miss the quality. So if quality is missing, so here obviously the business, we can say that there is no efficiency in the business. Next, carelessness. Sometimes there will be, if there is a carelessness in the higher officials, so it is a failure. Next here, disorder in the working of a business. See, if there is any absence of properly managing the organized system, so then there is no use. Risky for an auditor. Generally, internal check is done by the employees of an organization, right? So in this case here, if auditor does not apply tests and procedures, what he have, if he believe blindly the staff members report, then sometimes it will mislead the auditor. Here the auditor must take care about the auditor must take care about the promptness, and he has to apply techniques his own techniques he has to apply. Next here, the another concept we will discuss. So the next concept is internal check with regard to cash transactions. So here, like for example, cash receipts. So, if the cash receipts, the income or else the receipts which are being managed by the organization, they need to focus on the receivables of the company. Next, or business organization. Next year we have checks. So checks, the organization may be involving in the receiving various checks. So the auditor has to check the checks and its values properly. And next, all receipts should be banked daily. See, daily receipts must be done. The transaction must be done with the bankers immediately from the time to time. So that will reflect the bank reconciliation statement in order to prepare the cash balances. Okay. Next concept we will discuss. Next here, internal check with regard to various parties we have. So we will discuss. Like here, cash payments. The examples of cash payments I have given. Receipts of cash, all payments like checks, including petty, small cash payments. And petty cashier will take care about the small cash payments in an organization. Next year, sales at the counter. So, when the sales is going on in an organization, the salesman authorized to sell goods at the counter. It may be it will affect greatly to increase the cash sales. So, to improve the cash sales, the salesman efforts will be more to promote their products. Next, receipts from the cash sales. Generally, when whatever the receipts they receive from the from selling the goods, so here that must be immediately deposited in the bank on the same day, so in the banking hours, in order to avoid the various problems. Next, internal check with regard to credit transactions. Organization not only involves with the cash transactions, but also it deals with the credit transactions. It deals with the credit transactions. Like here, sometimes say credit sales may be omitted to record in the sales book. Next, fictitious sales may be recorded in the sales book. Improperly recording of the transactions in the sales book, it may also lead to the it won't match or it won't tally the organizational records. Next, sale of fixed assets may be treated as sale of goods. Then that is also a big problem. So sale of fixed assets must be posted somewhere. So if it is considered as a sale of goods, then here there will be mismatch in the amounts. Next, here sale of the next year may be recorded as sales of the current year. Then this is also a big problem to match the accounts. Next, internal check with regard to purchases. So purchase department will also deals with the internal check, like requisition like here purchase requisition, purchasing details. So for the head of the department of the purchases deals with the requisition or requisition of a purchases. Like for example, what contains in the requisition slip, like the details of quality, quantity of goods, and when it will be supplied, and what are the various products, etc. Next, inquiry. So the purchase department makes an inquiry about the terms and conditions of purchases from the different suppliers. So purchase department is linked with the suppliers. So suppliers, as the suppliers are rendering the raw material to the purchase department, then there will be a close association with the suppliers to the purchase department. So here they must be very clear about their turnover and price and quality in order to take their decisions. Next, purchase order. We will record, the purchase department will place an order and it will be recorded in the purchase order book. It is also an important aspect in the internal check of purchase department. Next, receipt of goods. Generally, purchase department, on receipt of goods, the purchase department should properly inspect them. So, in order to identify the various goods which are being stored in the particular go down or in the particular place, it has to focus on the receipts of goods. How many goods are being received, and the turnover of an organization must be properly maintained by the purchase department. Next, making the payments. The department must always should always check the invoices which are sent the same to the accounting department. It has to monitor the invoices, various invoices of the department. Next, internal check with regard to wages. Generally, generally the wages. So wages in the beginning classes we have discussed that salaries or salaries will be given to the higher cadre and wages are being given to the like workers. So here the wages on the aspect of wages also there must be an internal check. For example, dummy workers, if they recorded as a dummy workers in the list of workers list, then we can rectify that error at that point of time only under the internal check concept. So to avoid incorrect time or work records, so to avoid frauds or manipulation of wage sheets, manipulation of money, so there must be an internal check in the wage system. So internal check in the inventory system. So inventory means here like what we call here stores, or the raw material or like products or the raw material which are being stored in the godown. So here the following general rules must be maintained in the inventory stores, like location of the store, where it is located. The goods, for example, we call it as godown. So the location of godown, and properly whether the facilities are existing or not, whether there is a convenience to the supplier or not to supply the raw material to the particular godown. Next, receipts of stores. On receiving stores, the stores department will prepare a goods received note. So this goods received note will give a description about the details of the various receipts of stores. Next concept is test checking. So is it clear, ma? Up to here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Test checking. The name itself. Just we will check the entries which if at all if we are posted, that will be checked. Next, selection of items to be checked. See, generally in the audit techniques, randomly the auditor will pick the transactions. Then that is known as test checking. In the techniques of auditing, this is one of the type. So cash book check will be done, and last month transactions details will be checked. And here the test check means you're checking randomly the organizational transactions. The meaning of test checking is to check the check or verification of transactions will be done randomly. So here, like for example, accounts maintenance of accounts details, or else cash book, sometimes cash book, and sometimes all the transactions which are conducted in the first and last months will be checked. Next, unit 9. See, here the important questions up to here I will give you in the next class. Next, unit 9, we have internal audit. So, internal audit in the beginning also we have discussed internal audit. So, internal auditing consists of continuous and critical review of financial and operating activities of a staff of an auditor, or functioning as full-time or salaried employees. So internal audit focuses on the continuous and critical verification of financial and operating activities. So the main objective of internal control system is to suggest some suggestions to improve the system. Yes, ma, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Internal check and internal audit. So it aims at the improving the efficiency of the business. Next, also the internal audit focuses on the verification of the correctness which has been conducted in the financial accounting records. Next, to ensure the international standards, accounting standards. So the organization must conduct the internal auditing concept. Next, to investigate, the investigation is done with the special request of the management. Sometimes management will suspect some doubts in an organizational process. So under that situation also, the internal audit is being conducted. Next, statutory requirements to conduct internal audit. So section 138 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with the statutory requirement of internal audit. So generally, it shall be required to appoint an internal auditor. So there must be an internal auditor who shall be either be a chartered accountant or cost accountant, or such other professional as may be decided. Any professional like IC, if at all if he completed like IC no, ICAI, or else if he completed CA. So based on the board of directors decision, they can appoint the internal auditor. So the function of internal auditor is to verify the functions and activities of the company. Just here I have mentioned the functions and activities of the company. The verification of all these processes is done by the internal auditor. So sometimes if the auditor is being appointed by the central government, then the central government may by rules prescribe certain rules and ethics and morals, or else process in which the internal auditor and audit should be conducted and reported to the board. So internal audit is being done for the management sake. If the management needs a prompt and correctness in the business transactions, the internal audit concept is essential. Next, scope of internal audit. Another concept is scope of internal audit. So here, reliability and integrity, to maintain the reliability And for example, if the data is in one form, in the same form, it must be understood by the members. So that we call it as a reliable. The data is reliable. And integrity, if it is no, if they have not changed anything, then that is known as reliability and integrity in the information. Generally, information, when it is passing from one person to another person, it will become grapevine. How the grape will be? It will be in one structure, na? 1 2 3, and again 1 2 3, again 1 2 2. See, someone will understand information in some way, and they will communicate in another way to another person. It must not be taken place in the organization, so that here there will be many gaps will be arrived. Next year, compliance. See, internal audit focuses on the policies, plans, procedures, laws, and regulations. So, internal audit focuses on the policies of the business, plans of the business, and procedures of the business, and rules and regulations of the business. Next, it generally the internal audit safeguards the assets. The main intention is to provide the appropriate information and also to safeguard the assets of the company. Next, it also focuses on the economical and efficient use of resources. So, if internal audit concept is taking place, the resources will not be misutilized, like land, labor, capital, organization. These resources are not misutilized, efficiently used. Next, accomplishment of established objectives and goals for operations or program. Internal audit focuses on objectives of the business concern. So, it will check, the auditor will check whether the objectives are meeting or not. Objectives are in working in the business or not. If there is any gap, the auditor will communicate the same. It will give suggestions to the business organizations. Yes, ma. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Note down the questions, ma. So here I have to give questions to you. Note down. Internal check. Write down first question. What is internal check? What is internal check? Discuss its objectives. Discuss its objectives. Yes. Discuss its objectives and characteristics. Characteristics. That is one question, ma, in this unit. Next, we have limitations of internal check. The another concept is in the questions, limitations also you read. Next question. Next question. Internal check with regard to cash transactions. Internal check with regard to cash transactions, comma, cash payments, comma, sales at the counter, sales at the counter, credit sales, give comma, credit sales. Next, purchases, purchases, wages, wages, inventories, etc. The out of this various departments, you may be getting few in the question, in the exam, you may be getting certain departments mark. Next third question, you know down, test checking. Test checking. Test checking. Next question you take, statutory requirements. Statutory requirements of internal audit. Statutory requirements of internal audit. Esma, is it clear? And
Yes, ma'am.
also in this unit, yes, ma, in this block 3, there are certain differences between statutory audit and internal audit. So those concepts you revise at the end of the block. There are certain pages. You revise the differences. So you listen the class now. It will be very easy to understand the differences. So that again, I am not repeating the differences as I am covering the inter audit types detailedly. Differences I am leaving to you. Read, you revise, and at any place, if you are facing any doubts, you discuss with me in the next class.
Okay,
Okay?
ma'am.
And all of you, are you preparing? Are you finishing the preparation part also?
Yes, ma'am. We are preparing.
Yes, you prepare. Meanwhile, if you need any concept explanation up to Sunday, we will have classes. And even
Up
in
to
mail
Sunday.
also, by Sunday, the classes will finish, ma.
Okay, ma'am.
And you have my mail ID. If you face any doubts, you can post a mail to me. I will clarify, and whenever possible, I will give reply to you as early as possible.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So all of you, is it clear? Block 3.
Yes, ma'am.
So block 3 we have completed, and differences you read, ma. If you face any difficulty tomorrow, we will discuss. Those are very damn easy, but even though you revise it, my suggestion is you revise it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Then any doubts, ma?
No, ma'am.
No doubts. How you are feeling the PPT presentation?
It was easy, ma'am. We have to, I was understanding with easy words and easy sentences. In the textbook, we have discussed very deeply.
Okay, okay. I have concised and I have taken prepared this notes, ma. I have
Okay,
concised the
ma'am.
content, and complete content is there in an easy understandable language.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will share this PPT also to you. Whenever time permits, I will share.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Tomorrow also, I have prepared for tomorrow's class also. So today's and tomorrow's I will send you by tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay, ma?
ma'am. Okay,
And
ma'am.
one of the participant, she replied me in the mail, Sumanasri, conveyed thanks for the notes. God bless you, Sumanasri.
Thank you, ma'am.
Prepare well.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma, then be ready for next class. Shall we wind up?
Yes, ma'am. We have another class at 8 o'clock.
Yes, you have 8 o'clock. Just I am
Yes,
leaving
ma'am.
you 4 minutes, before 4 minutes. Why? Because you need to have a break, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take a break and join the class.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Okay. Okay, then happy learning. We'll meet tomorrow again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.